All right, so what are we going to receive in this course? You're going to have two virtual machines. So you're going to have an Ubuntu-based Linux. You may have heard of the SIFT workstation. So the SIFT workstation is quite famous in the forensic field. It's been around for, wow, maybe even a decade or longer. It's the definitive resource for Linux-based forensics. And so we've got hundreds of tools baked into there. This is a part of the SANS digital forensics curriculum that the team actually works on and maintains for the community. Hundreds of man hours go into every version of this tool, and so we'll get a chance to work with that in some of the exercises. And then we've also got a Windows-based VM. It just turns out that some tools run better in Windows or only in Windows, and some tools work better in Linux. And so having the two actually is the best of both worlds. And so you're going to see we're going to spend a lot of time in the Windows-based VM. One of the reasons is that you kind of have the best of both worlds now in Windows. With the Windows subsystem for Linux, we can actually run Linux commands on Windows, and you're going to get a little bit of experience with that as well. And so we've got these two different VMs. Within each VM, you can open up a browser, and that will open up your electronic workbook. That's how you'll access your electronic workbook there. And so I really recommend kind of playing with that. Also, just as a little tip, there'll be some information in that electronic workbook which will allow you to access it outside of the virtual machine. And so as an example, you can just connect to the IP address with a browser of your virtual machine, and it is running a little web server that will allow you to bring that workbook anywhere else. This works great if you have multiple monitors. So you can put kind of the workbook on one monitor, and then you can have your virtual machine running on another. And so look at the instructions within that first set of workbook components that'll help you set that up. Now you're also going to have a bunch of data to work with. And so we've got an entire network that we'll be analyzing in this course. And so you're going to have memory images, disk images, what we call triage images, super timelines. And so we've got a big collection of those, including a lot that you're just going to walk away with from the course. You're going to walk away with data from about 30 different systems. The idea being that many of those systems we might look at in the class, but also you're going to have some to walk away and continue your learning. And so this can be a tremendous way to keep up to date, also to keep playing with things or use these as a test set with maybe other tools that you have, or just to keep investigating. And so you're going to have a lot of great things to keep working on after the course as well. And those are going to be on your other ISO images. So you might have downloaded the ISO B and the ISO C. That's going to be the extra data that we're going to be working with in the course. I've already mentioned the course Dropbox, but it's worth another mention. So that's just going to be a place where we can share reference documents with you, threat reports, things like that. So you'll find some good resources there. And then also, you will also get this course in MP3 format. Of course, you have the videos, which I think are a fantastic format to really learn from. But maybe you have a long commute. Maybe you're studying for the test and you want to listen to things again. Maybe you like to go on long runs or something like that. MP3s will also eventually be available for you to take advantage of as well. Let me drop into the virtual machine for just a moment, just to give you a little tour of how it's going to look. And so I'm going to drop into our Windows virtual machine. And I just wanted to kind of show you in general what it's going to look like. Once you're in here, you'll log in. We have the username password within your Lab 0. And you should have a desktop that looks similar to this. Now, we're using these fences to kind of organize tools. And just so you know, they may not look perfect when you first bring it up. It really depends on the resolution of your screen. And so you can kind of move them around to set them up correctly. If you want, you can adjust the size of them. Kind of got to be careful, but you can kind of move them smaller and larger. I would say in general, don't get too attached to exactly how things look. It's very possible when you reboot your virtual machine, it might revert back to an older model. So I know sometimes we get very OCD about kind of what our desktops look like. But in general, these are just designed to kind of organize a little bit of where the tools are, so you can maybe find them a little more quickly. The thing I really want to show you is, of course, I had the browser up, and the browser should default to your electronic workbook. Now, if your browser is kind of minimized like mine is here, you might not see the sidebar, which will show you the exercises. And so you might need to go to what I call this little hamburger icon here to kind of see that. Whereas if I expand a little bit, you should eventually see that sidebar open up. And then you'll see at the top kind of my home, my hands-on labs, my resources. And so as an example, if I go to hands-on labs, kind of in this top component, you'll then see the labs for each section of the course. The resources is a good one to poke around in. We'll be referencing some of these in some of the labs. As an example, that how to approach labs that I just went through. That's some extra information in here if you want to dig into there, or maybe you want to look at the network diagram for the investigation that we're working on, or how to transfer data between your virtual machines. So lots of resource data in here as well. Now, while I'm in here, let's just go look at one of the labs. And so if I go into the hands-on labs, maybe I pick, I don't know, I'll pick one that we're coming up on, lab 1.2. You'll see the various sections I already talked about, objectives, lab prep. Eventually, you'll see some questions in here. And those questions will then have solutions. And of course, you can open up the solutions, and that should give you an idea of kind of what the answers to those questions should be. All right, so hopefully pretty straightforward. Once you get your VMs, you open up your browsers, you have your electronic workbook, and you should be ready to rock on this course and this investigation.